The night was thick with tension as Elara stumbled through the dimly lit alleyways of the city's underbelly. Her heart pounded in her chest, each step echoing the fear that had gripped her since she was abducted. The black market was a place where humanity's darkest desires were traded, and she had become one of its commodities. Her captors had drugged her, but the effects were wearing off, and she fought to stay conscious, her mind racing for a way to escape. She had been a scientist working on advanced energy technologies when she was kidnapped. Her knowledge had made her a target, and now she was being sold to the highest bidder. The thought sent a shiver down her spine. She had heard rumors of what happened to those who ended up in the black market: experimentation, slavery, or worse. As she turned a corner, her legs gave out, and she collapsed against a cold, damp wall. Her vision blurred, and she could hear the distant footsteps of her pursuers closing in. Despair threatened to consume her. She had no weapons, no allies, and no hope. But then, something extraordinary happened. A soft, otherworldly glow illuminated the alley. Elara squinted, trying to make sense of the light. It was unlike anything she had ever seen, a shimmering, iridescent hue that seemed to pulse with life. From the light emerged a figure, tall and slender, with skin that glowed faintly in the dark. His eyes were large and luminous, reflecting a depth of intelligence and compassion that took her breath away. He was an alien. Elara's first instinct was to scream, but no sound came out. The alien moved with a grace that was almost hypnotic, his long fingers reaching out to her. She flinched, expecting the worst, but instead, he gently touched her forehead. A warm, calming sensation spread through her body, and the fog in her mind began to clear. "You are safe now," he said. His voice a melodic hum that resonated in her mind rather than her ears. "I am Zynara. I will protect you." Before she could respond, the sound of heavy footsteps grew louder. Her captors had found her. Zynara turned to face them, his body glowing brighter as he stepped between Elara and the approaching men. The leader, a burly man with a scar across his face, sneered. "What the hell is this? Some kind of freak show," he growled, pulling out a knife. "Step aside or you'll regret it." Zynara didn't flinch. He raised his hand, and a wave of energy surged through the alley. The men were thrown backward, their weapons clattering to the ground. They scrambled to their feet, their faces pale with fear, and fled into the night. Elara stared at Zynara, her mind struggling to process what had just happened. What are you?" she whispered. "I am a traveler," he replied, helping her to her feet. "I came to your world to study its people, but I could not stand by and let you suffer. You are not like the others here. You have a light within you." Elara felt a strange warmth at his words, but before she could respond, Zynara's expression grew serious. "We must leave this place. They will return with more." He led her through a maze of alleys, his glowing form lighting the way. Elara followed, her trust in him growing with each step. They reached a secluded area where a small, sleek spacecraft was hidden. Zynara guided her inside, and within moments, they were soaring above the city, leaving the darkness of the black market far behind. Over the next few weeks, Zynara took Elara to a hidden sanctuary deep in the mountains. It was a place of breathtaking beauty, untouched by human hands. The air was crisp and clean, and the landscape was alive with vibrant colors and strange, alien flora. Zynara explained that he had been observing Earth for some time, but his mission was not to interfere, until he saw her. Elara learned that Zynara's species, the Zynari, were peaceful explorers who valued knowledge and harmony. They had long since evolved beyond violence and greed, and Zynara was deeply troubled by the suffering he had witnessed on Earth. He shared his knowledge with Elara, teaching her about the universe and the countless civilizations that thrived among the stars. In return, Elara shared her own experiences and insights about humanity. She spoke of its flaws but also its potential for greatness. The two of them spent hours talking, their connection deepening with each passing day. Elara found herself drawn to Zynara's kindness, his wisdom, and his unwavering sense of justice. He, in turn, admired her resilience and her determination to make the world a better place. One evening, as they stood beneath a sky filled with stars, Zynara turned to Elara and said, "I must soon return to my people. My mission here is complete." Elara's heart sank. She had known this day would come, but she wasn't ready to say goodbye. "Will I ever see you again?" she asked, her voice trembling. Zynara hesitated, his luminous eyes searching hers. "There is a way," he said slowly. "You could come with me. My people would welcome you, and you could continue your work in a world free of the darkness you have known." Elara's breath caught in her throat. The offer was tempting, but it also filled her with uncertainty. Earth was her home, flawed as it was, and she had dedicated her life to improving it. Could she really leave it all behind? As if sensing her inner conflict, Zynara gently took her hand. "I do not wish to take you away from your world," he said. "But I cannot bear the thought of leaving you behind. You have become very dear to me." Elara felt tears welling up in her eyes. "You've become dear to me too," she admitted. "But I don't know if I'm ready to leave everything I've ever known." Zynara nodded, his expression understanding. "Then let me offer you another choice," he said. "Stay with me, not as a traveler to my world, but as my partner. We can build a life together here on Earth. I will help you fight the darkness, and together we can bring light to this world." Elara's heart swelled with emotion. She had never imagined finding love in the midst of such chaos, but Zynara had shown her a kindness and compassion that she had never known. She realized that she didn't want to let him go. Not now, not ever. "Yes," she said, her voice steady despite the tears streaming down her face. "I will stay with you. I will marry you." Zynara's eyes glowed brighter, and a smile spread across his face. He pulled her into his arms, and for the first time in what felt like forever, Elara felt truly safe. The wedding was a small, intimate affair, held in the sanctuary where they had first found refuge. The alien flora served as their decorations, and the stars above were their witnesses. Elara wore a simple gown made from the shimmering fabric Zynara had brought from his world, and he wore a robe of the same material, its colors shifting with the light.